Hey friends, welcome to Growing with Creekside. Today I am going to share part 2 of the series, my favorite plants to plant in the fall for spring flowers. So today what we're going to talk about are my 7 favorite shrubs to plant in the fall for spring color. We have got some fantastic choices for you. Now, before I get too far in and I forget to tell you this, I want to make sure that you know that these 7 shrubs do bring you gorgeous spring color. So the best time to prune all of these shrubs will be after they bloom. You do not want to prune these shrubs in late summer, fall, or winter because they do all bloom on old growth. If you prune them during that time, then you're cutting off all of your flower buds for the spring. So just keep in mind on all of these plants that I'm going to share with you, if you need to prune them, the absolute best time to prune them is immediately after they flower. If you missed the first part of this series, my 7 favorite perennials to plant in the fall for spring color, make sure that you check out the link right here above and you can see that video. Now, without further ado, let's get in here and talk about some gorgeous plants. These are in no particular order, I will say, right? These are ones that are all fantastic in their own right. First one, Forsythia. Forsythia, I always grew up calling them yellow bells because you can clearly tell why we would call them yellow bells here in the South. These plants are absolutely covered in gorgeous, true, bright, cherry yellow flowers. Some of my favorites are from Proven Winners. It is the Show Off, which is a gorgeous plant, will be about in that like 5 to 6 foot tall and wide range. If that's too big, you can go off with Show Off Sugar Baby, which is a nice little petite one and going to be about that 2.5 foot tall range. These are going to be from part sun to full sun, hardy in zones 5 to 8. Now, as a little tip, I am a zone 7B. I have found that if my Forsythia are in lots of hot afternoon sun in the summertime, then that is too much for them. So I have them in the garden where they get lots of great morning to early afternoon sun, and then they get a break in the late afternoon. So just be aware of that. If you're in a zone 5, you can absolutely put them in full all-day sun. If you're a zone 8, you probably want to go for a break in the afternoon. They are very heat tolerant and they are deer resistant. Now, if I say that a plant is deer resistant during this video, I do not mean it is deer proof. There is absolutely nothing on this planet that is deer proof. If a deer is hungry, it is going to eat it. So just proceed with caution and just know deer resistant does not mean deer proof. The Forsythia is a deciduous shrub. So in the wintertime, you are going to have just bare sticks, but that's all right. Not a problem. Those gorgeous yellow flowers are totally worth it come early spring. Next on the list is a sweet spire, an Itea. Scentlandia specifically is the one that I am going to mention today. It is going to be a shade or a sun shrub. So yay for that, extremely versatile. Hardy in zones 5 to 9. We are a zone 7B, like I've already said. Mine is in full sun, all the way from sun up to sundown. About that 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. I have found that mine are naturally going to be a little bit more upright than wide. So it's definitely, mine are like that 3 foot tall, about 2 feet wide. They are drought tolerant, but yet they are also a great bog plant. So if you have a really wet area that you just don't know what to put in there, try Scentlandia. It will be a great option. I will tell you, the wetter and more moist that your ground is, the more that this is going to naturalize. So just keep that in mind because it will send out little baby plants out from, underneath it. So if there is an area that is consistently wet for you, that's just a problem area, try these Scentlandia because they will be gorgeous, beautiful, almost like a finger-shaped white flower come that springtime, and it just fills in the area really well. Those white flowers are a great pollinator attractor, has a nice sweet scent to it. That's why it's called Scentlandia. It is deer resistant and has absolutely stunning, gorgeous fall color. Mine right now here in the middle of October in North Carolina are a brilliant, deep red burgundy color, stunning, gorgeous, and they will hold on to that fall foliage for a very long time. So not only do you get gorgeous flowers in the spring, you also get great fall color come the end of the season. This is a native plant to North America. Next, we have one a little bit more specifically geared toward the south. This is the sweet talker viburnum. This is, again, a sun or shade, very versatile, zone 7 to 8 shrub. Now, it is going to be a tall one. It can be 8 to 10 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide. This would be a great option if you're looking to add in maybe a privacy screen or just something to give you that evergreen backdrop in your garden. Sweet talker is a great option. Love the sweet talker because, again, it is probably one of the absolute earliest shrubs to bloom. Really nice little petite light pink flowers on it that have a delicious fragrance to them. So you will smell the plant probably before you even notice the flowers on it. It can be very, very cold and you can still have flowers on your sweet talker. So that is a great, fun addition to your garden. They are heat tolerant, deer and rabbit resistant, and they too have a beautiful deep red fall interest color on their leaves. So it is a great one, and it is an evergreen, so you can have that great color year-round, great structure in your garden. Next, Edgeworthia. Edgeworthia Chrysanthia. That is what we call a non-branded plant. So I can't tell you, it's from Proven Winners or it's from, Southern Living or Monrovia, whoever. It is a non-branded plant. So when you go to your garden center, you can just ask for an Edgeworthia. It is also known as a paper bush. That is one of its common names, so you can absolutely ask for it that way as well. Edgeworthia is going to be more for your shade gardens. I just planted one like a week or two ago. It gets a little bit of morning sun and then it's going to get a break in the afternoon. So filtered sun, that part shade conditions, zones 7 to 10. Another southern plant, and it will grow to be about a 7 foot tall, 7 foot wide. And it's going to be a little bit of a slower grower, so it's not just going to take off and overtake your area. What's really fun about Edgeworthia is beginning in about December all the way through the spring, it will do these really unique blooms on it. And the best way I can describe it, they've already set their buds for this year. So October, you can already see their little buds, but they come up and they're like these little grips, and they're these little tiny trumpet white flowers. So it's like white and orange all together. An amazing fragrance. If you are familiar, if you're a scent person like I am, this is going to be a great option for you, absolutely. So Edgeworthia is wonderful, and then in the fall it does a really fun buttery yellow foliage color. It is deciduous, so you're going to drop your leaves in the wintertime, and it is deer resistant. When you have your foliage and the leaves, it's a very kind of a silvery blue-green color, very soft to the touch, really fun. So look for Edgeworthia. It will be one that you will enjoy from winter all the way through early spring for sure. Speaking of an amazing fragrance that you're going to enjoy all fall into winter, early spring, do you know what I'm talking about? If you've been around Jenny for very long at all, you know that I am a massive, huge fan of sweet Osmanthus. Where we live, we call them tea olives. In more southern regions, maybe they call them a sweet olive. So depending on where you live will be what the common name is. Again, most of this is going to be non-branded material, so there's not like a specific variety that I would say, go and do this. All sweet Osmanthus are wonderful. They will depend on which one you do get, though, according to what the mature size is going to be. So talk to your local garden center, ask what the mature size is going to be, and then plan appropriately. So tea olives, as I call them, are going to be for us a full sun plant because they are going to be hardy in zones 7B to 11. Depending on the variety, maybe some of them will even stay like an 8 to 11. Us as a 7B, I have grown them for years. I have them in multiple places in my garden and they do really well. Now, I do plant them in my hottest spot of the garden, so that way they have lots of good heat. They are going to be full to part sun. If you're cooler like me, full sun. If you're zone 11, you may need to go to morning sun, afternoon shade. Again, be a student of your garden and understand the sun conditions based on the growing zones. These are a beautiful evergreen that can get 10 feet tall, even taller depending on the variety. Some of them are even shorter. Average anywhere from like 4 to 6 feet wide. Gorgeous, nice deer resistant, really thick, glossy green leaves that are very kind of tough. They're not prickly like now some of them, you can get a sweet osmanthus that is more like a holly. The ones we have are not like that. They're the big wide leaves on them, but they put on flowers beginning from the fall all the way through the winter into early spring. And they have the most delicious fragrance that is very reminiscent for me of a orangey honeysuckle jasmine smell. Very, very fragrant. You will, a lot of times for us, we smell them more like first thing in the morning or late in the evening. Gorgeous aromas to them. So it is a definite, like when you smell that sweet osmanthus, it is just a wonderful awareness that you're in fall, or come spring that the season is starting to warm up and you're getting those gorgeous fragrances in your garden. This is perfect for a good upright border. So if you're looking for something that's going to flower, that is evergreen, that brings a gorgeous fragrance to your garden, but it can also provide a little bit of privacy, then the sweet osmanthus might be for you. Next on the list is Petalum. So Petalums are going to be, again, more for the southern climates. They're going to be anywhere from part sun to sun. And this is not so dependent on your growing conditions as like your zones, but where you need to put them. So if you need them in a little bit more shade, they absolutely can do that. If you want them in full hot sun, they can do that as well. Extremely tough, hardy plants. Petalums, we love them. They are hardy in zones 7 to 9. Petalums are great because they are a beautiful evergreen shrub. And when I say evergreen, I really should say like ever purple, ever burgundy shrub, because their foliage is not green. It is a beautiful shade of deep, deep purple, burgundy-esque flower leaves on them. And then what's really fun about this, Petalums are also called Chinese fringe flowers. So coming out of winter, going into spring, they will put on these hot pink flowers that look like they have been shredded. They really are very fringy. Now, there are some varieties out there. Proven Winners has one, Night Moves, that actually has white flowers. Petalums can go anywhere from a 2 foot small, like Purple Daydream is one of the smallest ones. It's like a 2 foot by maybe 3 feet tall and wide. We have Petalums at our house that are probably like 15 feet tall and wide. So depending on your variety will depend on which location you want to put them in. One of my favorites is the Jazz Hands Bold, because it has big, huge, massive, fat leaves on it and makes a very striking statement in your garden. And just Petalums, they are just one of the staples you see here in the South, because they are so easy and so like just low maintenance, no fuss shrubs whatsoever. And then the last shrub that is guaranteed to give you gorgeous flowers in late winter, early spring are camellias. Specifically Japonicas. Japonicas are the camellias that bloom from anywhere from January to February all the way through March into early April. Again, it will be dependent on the variety of the camellia, and camellias are going to be that southern plant that just are iconic with the South. They are going to be more for filtered sun. Once you get your camellias established, it can handle a little bit more sun, but those first couple of years getting your camellias established are really critical. So once you get them happy, then they are going to give you, they're probably going to outlive all of us, because camellias, I mean, they are just those gorgeous ones. Japonicas specifically are a little bit slower growing, so they are slower growers, but will eventually become some of the biggest camellias out there. And they can range in colors from pure solid white all the way up to your pinks and your reds and your bicolors. Just gorgeous flowers. They make great cut flowers. You can bring them inside. Roughly, they're going to be zones 7 to 9-ish. Will depend on your variety, so make sure you check those out. They are a gorgeous evergreen, nice glossy green leaves on them. And camellias, when you're picking them out for your garden, they really like moist yet well-draining soil that is acidic and really rich in organic matter. So those are some things to think about when you're getting your Japonica Camellias. But they are just, oh man, I don't know of another shrub, honestly, for my personal favorite, that brings me such joy and interest to see those big, huge, massive blooms coming out of winter, and you know that spring is right around the corner because they are blooming and they are absolutely gorgeous. So hopefully you have found a shrub that has piqued your interest that you can add right now. Go to your local garden center, look for one of these 7 shrubs, whichever one has piqued your interest that will fit into your garden. Talk to your local garden center. Maybe even if they don't have it, they can order it for you. There still should be, especially here in the South, plenty of time for your garden center to find those plants, locate them for you, and you can put them in the ground. So check out with your local garden center. Talk with them, ask them about some plants that you're interested in, and see how they can help you. As always, we so appreciate you. Thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.